What if the safest place on earth, your home, became a twisted trap on the night you needed safety the most? And what if the person trying to kill you just wanted to become a mother? In this brutal, nerve-shredding home invasion thriller, a pregnant woman faces off against a stranger who will stop at nothing to steal her unborn child on Christmas Eve. Welcome to Mind Warp Movies. In this video, I'll recap Inside, a claustrophobic descent into grief, obsession, and raw survival. This isn't your typical home invasion. It's personal, it's psychological, and it gets bloody fast. From the very first knock on the door, things spiral into chaos, with every room turning into a war zone. But here's the catch. The protagonist is 9 months pregnant, barely able to hear and completely alone. The only thing louder than the silence is her heartbeat and the ticking time bomb of labor. Without wasting any more time, let's get into it. The movie opens with a brutal car accident. Sarah Clark, heavily pregnant, survives the crash, but her husband does not. She also suffers partial hearing loss from the crash. This traumatic opening sets the tone of grief, isolation, and vulnerability. Months after the crash, it's Christmas Eve. Sarah is alone in her suburban Chicago home, preparing for her baby's arrival, which is due on Christmas Day. She's emotionally detached but going through the motions, decorating the tree, setting up the nursery, and keeping in contact with her mother, who's coming to stay the night. Her neighbor and close friend Isaac stops by to exchange gifts. Isaac also offers his support and promises to be there for her whenever she needs him. But as soon as the sun goes down, that's when everything starts to unravel and the madness sets in. That night, Sarah is woken by someone knocking at her door. As she peers through the peephole, she sees the faint outline of a strange woman standing eerily still. The woman's voice filters through the door, calm, polite, saying her car has broken down and she just needs to use the phone. But when Sarah, speaking through the closed door, mentions that her husband is asleep.
Your husband isn't sleeping, Sarah. He's dead.
The woman coldly replies, "He's not. He's dead." And worse, she calls Sarah by her name. Alarmed, Sarah tries calling Isaac but gets voicemail. She also calls the cops. Officers arrive and investigate, but the woman has vanished. They find nothing after conducting a brief search of the property. No woman, no broken-down car, just silence. The officers leave, assuring Sarah that everything seems fine. As they leave, she breathes a sigh of relief, but the night is just beginning. While Sarah sleeps, the mysterious woman silently slips inside the house and kills her dog. She also drugs Sarah with chloroform and injects her with oxytocin to induce labor. Feeling the effects of the drugging, Sarah wakes up disoriented and realizes she's under attack. She barely escapes after a brief confrontation with the strange woman. She flees, locking herself in the bathroom and arming herself with a shard of glass from a broken mirror. While still in the bathroom, her phone starts ringing in the kitchen, and we see that it's Isaac calling. Just when things couldn't get any more intense, Isaac shows up to check up on Sarah.
I'm Sarah's mother.
The woman intercepts him, posing as Sarah's mother. She nearly convinces him to leave until the real mother arrives in a taxi.
Did something happen to Sarah?
Tell us who you are first.
I am her mother.
Seeing a strange woman at her daughter's house, Sarah's mom rushes inside. And what happens next is absolute chaos. In the confusion, Sarah, thinking she's defending herself, accidentally kills her mother after fatally stabbing her in the neck with a shard of glass. The trauma, the confusion, the tension, it's overwhelming, and it causes Sarah to break down in anguish.
I didn't know it was you. I didn't know it was you. I didn't know it was you.
Isaac discovers the tragedy, but before he can react,
Who is my mom? I said,
the strange woman stabs him in the back. Seeing this, Sarah immediately runs back to the bathroom and locks herself in. While inside the bathroom, Sarah suddenly clutches her stomach as she goes into full-blown labor. Meanwhile, the strange woman starts slashing at the door, trying to force her way in. And while she's doing all these, she keeps taunting Sarah. When she sees that she can't get in, she goes back to Isaac. At that moment, his phone starts ringing, and we see that it is Brian, his partner, that's calling. Sensing that Brian might come over for Isaac, the woman blocks the bathroom door with furniture and sneaks next door to Isaac's house. Sarah, still trapped in the bathroom, tries to alert Brian through the window, but she's too late. She watches in horror as the strange woman sneaks up behind Brian and slits his throat. While all these is going on, 2 police officers, Mike and Alice, arrive at Sarah's house for a wellness check, but the strange woman is 2 steps ahead. The woman, again posing as Sarah, answers the door and speaks to Officer Mike. But something doesn't sit right with him as he returns to the squad car outside.
You're playing midwife back there.
His suspicion grows after his partner, Alice, points out that Sarah is supposed to be pregnant.
Damn it. What?
Hold on.
He returns to confront the woman, but she stabs him in the face just as Sarah is creeping down the stairs. As Sarah runs back up to the bedroom, Mike momentarily recovers and fights back, trying to strangle the woman. However, during the scuffle, the woman somehow gains the upper hand and fatally stabs Mike to death. Alice enters moments later, only to find a trail of blood and the horror that's unfolded inside. Seeing Sarah, the officer assumes that she killed her partner and points a gun at her.
No, it's not me that you want. I'm Sarah Clark. I called the police earlier tonight. The woman that I reported is upstairs.
Sarah, however, manages to convince Alice of her innocence and leads her upstairs to find the strange woman. But the intruder is like a ghost, always just ahead, always just out of reach. While searching for the intruder, Alice walks into a trap, and this happens. The woman shoots her dead with Mike's gun. Sarah, barely clinging to consciousness, is fighting labor pains, panic, and her own rising fear that she and her baby may not make it out of this alive. What follows is a brutal cat-and-mouse game between the 2 women as Sarah's water breaks. She and the woman fight in a vicious, physical confrontation across the house. Sarah stumbles from one hiding spot to the next, using shards of broken mirrors, porcelain lids, anything she can get her hands on to fight back. She manages to flee outside, but the nightmare doesn't end, as the woman also follows. While trying to flee in the police car, Sarah is attacked by the woman, and they end up crashing the car into a tree. Sarah stumbles into the attacker's home and finds evidence of stalking, obsession, and grief. The woman had been following her for months. The truth starts to click. This wasn't random. This woman has been stalking Sarah all along, watching, planning. She's not just a stranger with a knife. She's someone who lost something in that car crash that killed Sarah's husband. As a result of losing her baby in the accident, she blamed Sarah for it, and now wants her unborn baby as compensation. The confrontation moves outside onto a pool covered by a plastic tarp. The 2 women, locked in a deadly battle, both broken, both desperate, fall into the water. As Sarah begins to drown, the woman panics, realizing she may lose the baby, rips the tarp open, saving Sarah's life. However, the woman is unable to follow Sarah out of the water, and she drowns. Floating atop the torn pool cover, Sarah gives birth in the water. As the camera pans out, we see the flashes of torchlight from policemen closing in on the scene, and the movie ends. Inside isn't just a home invasion thriller, it's a raw, nerve-wracking experience. It's about grief, motherhood, and the length someone will go when pushed past the brink. It's claustrophobic, it's violent, and it doesn't let you breathe until the very last frame. If you're into dark, tension-packed horror with brutal twists and heart-pounding suspense, this is one you don't want to sleep on. And lest I forget, if you like this recap, hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns of the most intense, underrated thrillers out there. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.